Hi everyone, my name is Screwed. I have a Twitch stream called Totally Screwed, and I decided to make a quick tutorial video here on AvaCrypt. What is AvaCrypt? Well, it is a tool that is made to make ripping avatars harder. Now, let it be said first that anybody who is determined to rip your avatar to completion for whatever reason, maybe it's a prototype, maybe it's a personal avatar and you're a content creator who's really popular, someone wants to, for whatever nefarious reasons wants your avatar, they will get your avatar. The big thing is this tool will make it take longer for them to have your avatar. So instead of taking like 5 minutes from rip to upload, it may take 5 hours, 5 days, or maybe even 5 weeks, depending on how determined, how much effort they're willing to put in. Overall, it makes it harder to do. Now, what AvaCrypt does is it takes your mesh. We'll use the kiddie here as an example, and it messes with the vertices. So it'll look nothing like the avatar. It'll look like a jumbled, pixelated mess, as many of my friends have pointed out to me. Uh, Pretty much, my friends have joked to me saying, "Oh, your vertices are showing. Oh my God, your vertices are showing." But, uh, anyways, the idea is that it's a two-piece system. The main program will manipulate the avatar, so this way it becomes an unusable, spiky mess, looks nothing like the avatar, and it becomes very painfully obvious that there's something up with the avatar as far as the Ripper's concerned. Maybe even if you're not high enough in their their safety settings, they don't see your shaders. They see a jumbled piece of mess, and maybe it'll deter them from even considering it because they'll know right off the bat there's something wrong with this avatar. Uh, so right there, it acts as a deterrent from casual ripping, and you know, a real surprise for those that rip your avatar that don't realize there's something done to your avatar, and suddenly they're left with a nice little surprise when they import it into Unity, which you will get to see in the next few minutes. And inside VRChat, we have a modified shader. In this case, we're using a modified version of poiyomi Tune that relies on you to enter a code on your Pi menu in order to get the decryption key. So this way it makes it look the way it's supposed to be inside VRChat. So in other words, the avatar looks perfectly fine, perfectly normal when people are showing your shaders. People who don't, it's a pixelated mess. I found some of my friends have said it's a little disorienting, but disorienting in a good way because they think it's really cool that it's harder to rip the avatar, or at the very least, it deters casual rippers from even trying. So that's part of the reason why I made this video. So we're going to be using the kiddie for this example. There's no particular reason why I chose the kiddie. I picked it at random. It's one that I've had access to for a long time. So this is just for example's sake. Okay, so what do you need? Well, first and foremost, and keep in mind all these links are going to be in the description down below, you will need GTAvaCrypt. Pretty much you can find it at this address. Of course, I will have all these links in the description below. And once you go to that website, you want to download all this code. You can do that easily just by clicking code and clicking download zip. Now, I already have this downloaded, so I'm not going to do it again. And keep in mind, all the instructions I'm going to be going over, with exception of what's going on in the shader, is right here. Step by step, what you need to enter and put into the avatar in order to make this work. Now, like I said, this does require a modified shader and a modified version of poiyomi Tune. Rigo 6 does have a modified poiyomi toon shader right here. He has it linked. Now, keep in mind, as of this video, this is a really old version of poiyomi toon. This is version 6. We're currently at version 7.3 as of the making of this video, February 2022. So you want to have an up-to-date version of the shader. Right now, the only place to get that is within his Discord. So as you can see right here, just look for this post and you'll be able to download it. I will have a mirror copy in my uh, Google Drive. Again, linked down in the description below for easy access. But if you don't trust me, at the very least, you know you can find it here in the Discord. So, with that being said, let's get on with the tutorial on how to apply it. Now, keep in mind, if you do not know how to upload an avatar, I'm afraid that's outside the scope of this video. Pretty much this video is making the assumption you already know how to edit and work with Unity for uploading avatars into VRChat. So, if you do not know, I recommend pausing this video and taking a look at one of the many videos that are available on YouTube for uploading it. I may upload one of those in the future. I haven't decided yet. I just felt like there's so many videos out there that do that. You know, I mean, I'd just literally be reinventing the wheel. So the first thing you'll want to do inside your package is click on the poiyomi toon folder, as you see here, and you want to right click, delete, yes. As you see, it's now a pink mess. Not a big deal. Let me just delete that because we don't need that yet. You just need to go over to your, where you have poiyomi toon. Bring up my poiyomi folder. Click on the GTAvaCrypt version. Drag and drop in. Hit import. Let it do its magic. And bam. We got the avatar looking correct. And then you want to copy over your your AvaCrypt folder. There's no Unity package, so we got to do like the old-fashioned drag and drop into the package. Now, another nice utility to have that I do recommend that you install, just because it does make life a little easier when we're working with this. You want to, that's right, it's in my miscellaneous folder. You'll want to install, I already have it installed here, but you want to install the AV3 emulator. I'm using the AV3 emulator Lite from Luma. Forgive me if I mispronounce it. That is a SDK3 avatar emulator for Unity. Essentially, it mimics the operation of how things would work inside VRChat. It's useful when you're doing stuff like this, and you'll see why in a little bit. So, before we go any further, what we want to do is we want to locate the materials. So, for that, you want to go over to the key to avali folder. You want to go to materials, default textures, and then you want to open up the material. You want to go over here. And then you want to scroll down to third-party AvaCrypt keys. And then you want to right-click on each one of these keys. Now, what we're doing is we're essentially animating this. And so, if you don't do this, when you go to lock in the shaders, AvaCrypt will cease working if you don't do this. So this is a necessity on every material that you're using AvaCrypt on. So we did that on the main. Go to hair. Third party, AvaCrypt. Right click on each one. Third party, AvaCrypt, key. And again, third party, key. That is all the materials we have to work with on this particular avatar. So now you need to click on the avatar and bring up the inspector. And then you want to go all the way over here, click on add component, type in AVA, and you'll see AvaCrypt root. You just click on it. Now, you need to have a valid animator. So when you run it, you may notice you get this, add an animator component. Usually what that means is there is no animator controller set. And if you look up here, you see that is the case. So you want to click the little circle button. And you want to bring up the animator controller. Now you basically just have to really select one, or you can create one from scratch. I usually like to use the one that is used by the FX layer. Now this, I'll be honest, I'm not a expert in making avatars. I'm pretty sure somebody is gonna start squealing and yelling at me saying, you do not do this, don't do it this way, and they're probably right. But this, I found that I've never had an issue using the same animator as what is set up for FX. If for some reason you see there's an issue, or maybe you know better, and you feel like it's better to create a new controller, then by all means do that. But this I found is the simplest way. So once that's done, you want to go back over here, click validate controller, and what this is going to do is it's going to add all the stuff that AvaCrypt needs to make it work in the controller. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to go over to parameters. Click on your parameter section, and then we need to add a new parameter. Make sure it is float. Now, you want to make this, let's see, AVA. Let me just double check that. Yep. Oop. There. This is why we keep the settings and stuff here. Okay, so we want to name this AvaCrypt key 0, and then add 4 more, or rather 3 more. Name this 1, 2, 3. Now, here's a thing. Pretty much, if you want the most security, and you know you're not going to be streaming or anything like that where people are going to see these keys, uncheck the save box. Now, this will give you the most security. It means you will have to constantly enter in every time you switch to this avatar. You will have to constantly add in these keys because it is not saved. This is honestly the most secure way to do it, but for convenience sake, as long as if you're using like a PIN number that you know you're never going to forget without repetitive use, you can just leave these checked and it will save that information. So every time you switch to this avatar, the keys will already be in place. You don't have to waste your time going in and constantly entering it on the radio menu. But this part here is now done. So now you want to go back to your inspector here. Now that we have the parameters section in, we want to go over here to the menu and click here. Find the menu. Go back over. We want to add new control. and we'll type in AvaCrypt keys. You want to change the type to a submenu. Then you want to click the button here, and you want to select AvaCrypt menu. Close that out. And now we have our menu item here. So you want to go back to the avatar, and then scroll back down to AvaCrypt root script. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty fun stuff. So, if you want to, just memorize these values and you can just hit Encrypt Avatar and you're done. But for argument's sake here, we're just going to go over and explain what each thing is. So, distort ratio, this is how much distortion is going to occur when the tool starts manipulating the mesh. In my opinion, 0.1 is perfectly fine, but if you want to look more distorted, you increase the value to, or rather, sorry, you decrease the value to 0. If you want to increase the distortion, you just move the slider up to further increase the value. Like I said, I personally think 0.1 is perfectly fine for this. Now, for ease of use here, pretty much, actually, let me take a step back. Now, each key here is basically, you got to think of this as like a combination in a lock. In this case, we got 4 numbers. These are your percentile values that you're going to enter in on your radial menu. So just to make things super simple, let's do 10, 20, 30, 40. Now, as you can see with the middle two, I've noticed this happens a lot, where the value will not, it'll never be 20, it won't be even. It'll always be an odd number. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. But as you can see, I mean, this is still fairly easy to remember. 10, 19, 31, 40. And once we have a pin number, or rather a combination that we are happy with, we click Encrypt Avatar. And ready for it, guys? Ready? Boom. This is what your avatar will now look like to anybody who doesn't see your shaders. Because this is your new mesh. It is glorious. It is glorious. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like, guys. All right. Now to test things. So remember how I talked about SDK3 and how it's there's an emulator out there. Well, this is how we do this. If you have that installed, go to your tools menu, enable 3.0 emulator. You'll see it pops up here. And then you want to hit the play button at the top. And here we go. Pretty much you click on this guy here on the side, the one that says encrypted. And as you notice, we got a set of menu items here. So we click AvaCrypt keys. Key 1, remember it was 10. And then you want to go down the line. Now I'm going to zoom back out here so you can see as I change it. 0.19. And that one was 0.31. You notice every time we enter it in, it looks a little bit more correct. And then this was 40%. And look at them now. Looks completely normal. Looks totally normal for the avatar. All right, so stop this. Now we're going to upload to
A few moments later.
Okay, now that we're in VRChat, time to get into the avatar so I can show you how it works inside VRChat. So, open up your menu here. You want to look for our avatar. Now I have a lot of them here, so okay, kiddie encrypted, and as you can see, we are a special little being. Glorious. This is what peak performance looks like. But no, seriously. Let's open up our expressions menu, and you see you have AvaCrypt keys here. So we want make this 10%. This is 19%. This was 31%. And this was 40%. Boom. Now we are a cute little Kita. So that is how AvaCrypt works. As you can see, if people don't see your avatar, uh, shaders, obviously they can't see your avatar. It'll just look like a big bundle of mesh, and there is some upsides and downsides. Obviously, well, the big upsides is it makes it harder to rip. The downside is that if people can't see your shaders, well, they can't see your avatar, so you'll have to convince them to show your shaders. I find this is not too difficult because usually they're like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with your avatar?" I'm like, "Oh, just go ahead and show my avatar; it'll fix it." And sometimes they're a little hesitant, but then as soon as they click show, they're like, "Oh, what? Okay, it must be broken." I'm like, "Nah, nah, nah." And I explain to them what AvaCrypt is. So that is something you do have to keep in mind. Also, as you saw, we do add 4 float values to the parameters. That does eat up a lot of memory according to the SDK. So you do kind of have to be careful with how much you add to the avatar. Some people like to add a lot of toys and a lot of add-ons to their avatars, and some have, like, for example, the Rexiums and the uh, uh, basically, like, for example, there's some furry avatars like the Rexiums and the Nardo dragons, for example, have like a lot of options for adjusting, different aspects of the body. Fem shapes, masculine shapes, different materials, stuff like that. And you're going to have to make some sacrifices in some of that stuff and things that you don't use. Like if you don't use the feminine shape, obviously delete the feminine shape. If you don't use the tail wag because, well, we'll say you have full body, so you wag your own butt. Uh, so, you're going to have to turn that off. Obviously, if you add stuff like VRC lens, that's going to take up quite a bit of memory as well. So you may not be able to use the two at the same time. So you're going to end up with probably 2 separate avatars, one that you can use in public instances and one that you can use in private instances when you know you're just going to be you and your friends. So that is unfortunate and a obvious limitation in the system. I understand there's a version 2 of AvaCrypt coming. I do not know the specifics. Also, you kind of have to use poiyomi Tune. Is currently the only uh, shader that has been modified to include AvaCrypt functionality. And to my understanding, there is somebody that's a contributor to the poiyomi that is adding it as plugin support for poiyomi Tune 8. So I don't know if that is for certain going to get into the package, but if it does, it'll definitely be much easier than relying on modified packages in the Discord. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to give me a like if you liked it, dislike if you don't like it. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff. And yeah, if you want to watch my channel live, I do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/totally screwed. With that said, hope you all have a good night. Ta ta.